Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of I Like Trains. Today we've got another Bachmann unboxing. It actually comes from their Thomas and Friends range and it's none other than one of the Scottish twins, Douglas himself. Now this came from Tootley Thomas and it actually came for £90 and I believe that did include shipping, so that's actually not too bad I consider. But of course, realistically, this is sort of more aimed towards the child sort of range when we think of models. Bearing in mind this is sort of plastic. It comes with obviously the moving eye mechanism, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Like I say, it's more aimed at sort of the kids, the Bachmann Thomas and Friends range, and they are more cheaply produced than some of the higher end models that you can get from Bachmann or Hornby or other retailers. But I'm really excited about this one. I've wanted one of the Thomas and Friends Bachmann range for quite a while. Obviously, I've only got the troublesome truck at the moment. If you haven't seen that, I'll leave that up in the corner. You can go and check that out. But I've finally got one of the locomotives and it's no secret, everyone knows they're probably one of my favourite, if not my favourite characters from the series, the Caledonian twins. I will get Donald at some point, but of course Douglas is realistically a good start. So let's get into it.
The summer sun is shining in the bright blue sky. The clouds are white as cotton as they float on softly by. And the world is a wonderful place to daydream in. The flowers gently blossom and the swallows glide. The stream is slow and lazy, winding through the countryside. For the world is a wonderful place.
So yeah guys, there is Douglas from the Thomas and Friends Bachmann range. Now he is electrically operated with moving eyes and I'm really interested to see that feature and how effective it is obviously when he's moving along the track. Now first impressions, I have to say I think the colour looks stunning in that sort of nice jet glossy black there that they've done him in. I think it really represents him and what his character looks like based on the classic TV series. Now he is actually based off a Caledonian 828 and that was originally come in a nice light blue colour, and there is actually still one in preservation and you can currently visit it at the Spa Valley Railway in Tunbridge Wells here in West Kent. So I'd highly recommend going to see it. It's such a stunning looking loco, probably one of my favourites. Quite representative of these being my favourite characters of the show. So in terms of the show, they originally appeared in season 2 and their first episode debut was Break Van. They originally did end up on the island of Sodor under the Fat Controller, and of course they were great assets to the railway, and they do still appear from time to time in the show today from what I understand, although probably not as much as they used to, although let's face it, they never really appeared much in the original series anyway, which is quite a shame. But yeah, overall I think it's a nice looking loco. So of course obviously first things first, I mean if we look at that face, I mean just looking through the packaging, that face looks pretty accurate based on what the TV show would look like. So I'm really excited to get that out and have a look. Like I say, it's electronically operated with moving eyes and it's for the use on HO00 scale track. And like I say, it's 8+, so realistically with these, they're more sort of classed as toys, high-end scale toys rather than actual serious models, just purely for the fact they're more cheaply made and they're more aimed at a younger audience, or young at heart in this case. But I'm going to turn it round for you and obviously just show you what the rest of the range is. So like I say, moving eyes from side to side. Then of course obviously you've got the main roster of characters that you normally would. And this is item number 58808. And like I say, this came from Tootley Thomas. So they shipped it out, and I believe with shipping, it was originally £90. With shipping, I think it came to about £95, £96 I want to say. And I don't think that's too bad. Like I say, if you compare it as a toy, it's very expensive for a toy, but if you look at it sort of as a model, I don't think it's too bad, obviously depending on what the model is actually like. So I think what we need to do is obviously get this unboxed. So yeah guys, what we're going to do is get it unboxed. And I mean in terms of the packaging, it comes in this blister packaging that most of their range comes in. I believe they did originally do a nicer, slightly more fancier packaging back in the day, but it was still the blister packaging. And simply you just need one of your trusty little knives, which I've got here, and it should be relatively straightforward. I mean, normally I think, if I remember rightly, what I did with the troublesome truck was I just went round the edges and then, fingers crossed, it was pretty straightforward to get him out the box. But obviously whether this one's going to be the case, let's see if that's been any good. And that's not been too bad, you know. Let's see if we could get him out, slide him out slightly. There we go, look at that. Easy as you like, and realistically you've kept the packaging intact, a little bit scratched, but of course obviously you can obviously put it back in and have it on display in the packaging if you want to. Now, first things first, like I say, just looking at this, I mean, wow. And there's actually a fair bit of weight to this. I'm quite surprised, considering I'm pretty sure this is all mainly plastic. Fairly surprised, but the glossiness of the black just really, really, really pops. Stunning looking little model, but I think what we need to do now is get it out and obviously go in for a closer look and the final details of it. So there is Douglas out of the packaging for you guys. Now, the first thing I want to say is just, I'm actually really quite blown away by this model, a lot more than I actually generally thought I would. I knew I was going to like it, and maybe I'm a little bit biased because he's one of my favourite characters from the series, and the 828 is one of my favourite locomotives of all time. But I am actually generally surprised, and the level of quality that they've actually done here, considering, like I say, this is more sort of a toy than a serious model. I think they've actually gone to really, really good lengths. Now, first of all, the running plate, surprisingly, is actually made out of metal. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting the whole model to be made out of plastic, so that's a really nice touch. Now, in terms of the lining, I just think the actual lining around the tender and obviously the side of the cab there, I think they've done that to such a high standard and quality. I think it's really, really nice. I think the 10 there on the tender just looks amazing. Now, something I did notice here as well is that the Douglas nameplate is actually separately fitted. Now, that's a really nice feature. You've got the safety valve as well as the whistle up here. Now, I'm not too sure if they are separately fitted or not. I know they're plastic, but it's still a really nice touch. Now, obviously, if we just spin them around, that completely backfired, didn't it? But yeah, if we completely spin them around quickly, and obviously take a look at his front. Now, obviously, you can see here, you've got the vacuum pipe and obviously the coupling hook there. Now, that's actually separately fitted, so that's a really nice feature. I think the face is just so accurate in terms of the TV show. Now, the buffers aren't sprung, but I wasn't really expecting that for the calibre of model. But yeah, like I say, I'm just generally blown away by this model. I actually am. I'm surprised that I actually am blown by it away that much. And then obviously if we flip them out to the other side, all its tenders come off there. Let me just replace that back on. There we go. Not the easiest to actually put on these, actually. Probably because I've got it on a bit of curved track, which is a bit silly. But yeah, again, as well, I just think it's just such a really nicely detailed model. You got the handrails there that are obviously separately painted, which are really nice. And like I say, I just think the gloss and glossy finish of the actual logo itself just done to a really, really good standard. Now, another thing I've noticed with this model as well is that the cab area, you've actually got a bit of a cab area with these. I'm assuming Donald would be the same. Now, from what I can tell, based on the other tender locomotives that Bachmann have done in the Thomas and Friends range, that's not really something that they come with. So the fact that you've actually got sort of a little bit of a form of a cab is actually really quite nice. And then, of course, that glossy finish on the coal there, I just think is done to a really stunning standard, to the point I actually think it looks quite real on the model. So yeah, what I think we need to do now is go ahead and get him down on the track and see how he performs. So yeah guys, there is Douglas down on the track. So what we're going to do is we're obviously going to see how he performs in obviously his terms of crawl performance. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a juice. And like I say, it's the first time he's run. So we'll see what the crawl is like straight out of the box. Oh my. Oh wow. Can we ease into that a bit? Wow. Not gonna lie, that was pretty smooth. What's the backwards performance like? Cool, he seems to have flown back there. And let's see what the backwards crawl is like. That's not bad, you know. That's really, really not bad. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse him up a bit, and we'll see what the eye mechanisms are like. Oh yes, I like that a lot. So effective. Oh yes, the eye mechanism is fantastic. So yeah, he is now running complete. I've run him a good distance both ways now, so he should be nice and comfortable to traverse obviously over the points of the track itself. Now as you can see, I've assembled a train here consisting of 6 trucks. Now we should be able to pull this no problem, but obviously we'll test that and find out. The only thing that might stop him is this guy at the back. But fingers crossed, he's experienced enough that he should be able to handle troublesome trucks all by himself, even without his twin Donald here for assistance. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to get him backed up onto the train. Double check and see if that's coupled. No, it didn't seem to couple. Let's try now. Go for it. No, and it doesn't seem to want to be coupling with that. Right, so it seems it did not like this Bachmann coal and transport wagon for some reason, and did not want to couple up to it. So what we're going to do is now we're going to back Donald up again and see obviously whether he will. That sounds a lot better. So let's see if he's coupled. Perfect. So that's been our review of the Douglas from the Bachmann Thomas and Friends line. Really hope you enjoyed that. Leave a comment down below if you own this model and what you think of it. Personally, I've fallen in love with it. I was bound to anyway. One of my favourite characters. Might be being a bit biased here, but I generally think the model is such good value for money. So yeah, like I say, I really hope you've enjoyed that review, and we'll see you in the next one. See you everyone.
Ivor the engine. Daily as look. Life goes on much the same.